Hi guys, we are back. We are back with a Manchester United preview. My name is Kieran, of course, from Red Devil Weekly, but you already knew that, of course you did. You're watching this channel. Make sure you do hit that like button if you aren't already before we get into it. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new, and thank you so much for all support on the recent videos. Really do appreciate it, and as always, if you want to continue supporting the channel, do everything I just said, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well if you are new around here, and get involved in the comments, get involved in the live chat as you guys are doing right now. Welcome to everyone who has joined as well, really appreciate it. And to everyone asking me about guests and things, of course, as we usually do on this channel, we'll have guests on, and I will get you guys on at some point in this stream. This stream probably won't be going on for past, well, thing is, I feel like there's no point in me saying how long it's going to go on for, because it's just a bit of a fluid situation. I end up saying, oh, I'm gonna keep it under an hour, and then suddenly we get into a really good discussion, and it just feels natural to want to carry it on. So I won't actually put a cap on it. But yeah. Listen, you're saying I've got a beard, right? Let's just get this out of the way, okay? First of all, it's November, and if you are doing November, I salute you. Unfortunately, I'm quite fair haired, as you can tell, so my beard doesn't really show up that much. I'm surprised you can even see it, to be honest. Maybe it's just because the lighting's good, which is a good sign that you guys can actually see the beard. It must mean that you can actually see my face properly, which is good. But yeah, it's coming along all right. The mustache needs work. It definitely needs work. It's looking a bit looking a bit light on the mustache type thing. But we're only 20 days into November, only 20 days in. So who knows? Maybe if we go on a winning streak, maybe I'll have to keep the beard. Because I think I started growing the beard obviously during the international break and when we played Everton. So I don't think we've lost with the beard. So maybe if we win against West Brom, I've got to keep it. I've got to keep growing it. In fact, that's what I'm gonna. If we beat West Brom, which we should beat West Brom, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But if we beat West Brom, then I will keep the beard, and I'll keep the beard until we lose or until we get a bad result, and that is a promise. That is a Red Devil Weekly promise. But yeah, what's good, everyone? Thanks for joining. Owen, thanks for joining. I'm sure we'll get you on soon, as well as Sean. Thanks for joining. Make sure you check out Worldwide Red Show as well if you haven't already. Great stuff on there. No, don't worry about it, mate. Thanks for the compliment, for your talk. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. What does Owen say? He says, don't use a November excuse, you just can't be asked to shave. Actually, well, no, if I couldn't be asked to shave, then it would look really straggly. But actually, I don't have a kind of neck beard type thing. It is a bit, like, obviously it's kind of on the underside of my chin. And it kind of just gives me a bit of a, it just kind of gives me the illusion of a jawline, so I'm keeping it. But yeah, don't say I can't be asked to shave. I mean, Don't make those sort of accusations. Don't fly them about, because I keep this beard very well groomed, as you can tell. And that's for all the ladies out there watching, because I know we've got such a big female fan base on Red Devil Weekly. I know I'm speaking to at least 2 people, if that. Welcome, Tom. Thanks for joining as well. Appreciate it. We'll sure you have your say later on in the stream. But we're going to talk about West Brom. We're going to get onto this preview. And West Brom haven't won a game this season. They played 8 games and have not won a single game. So it sets them up perfectly to come to Old Trafford and get a result, right? It just is going to happen. Ollie is all about breaking records. All about all about breaking records. He's done it before. And West Brom, under Slaven Bilic, a manager which Manchester United has historically struggled against, actually, he'll be determined to keep that good run going. The last result West Brom had at Old Trafford was a 1-0 victory, a Jay Rodriguez goal. They were 20th in the table. We were second in the table at that point. And ultimately, we lost the game. So it shows that even when West Brom are 20th in the table and clearly the worst team in the Premier League, and when we finished at the highest we finished since Sir Alex Ferguson left, we can still lose them at Old Trafford. So I'm not ruling out a defeat here. I'm really not ruling out a defeat, and I'm sure you guys aren't as well. But as I say, if you think, well, I'll get to your predictions obviously later in the stream, but for me, I'm confident after the Everton game. I think the players have got to take confidence from that. To go and beat a decent Everton side, yes, they didn't have all their full strength players, and some of their players you could argue weren't fully fit. Someone like James Rodriguez wasn't at full fitness and things like that, and they didn't have Richarlison, of course, but to go away to Everton and win with the start they had made to the season, I think that was a decent result. So if we can do that, I don't understand why we can't beat West Brom, and we should beat West Brom. And as I said, before the Everton game, I said, when Ole's job is on the line, we end up going on a little run of form. Now, the international break has kind of interrupted that, if you like, but if we win this West Brom game, I wouldn't be surprised if we go on to win the next 3 or 4 games. I wouldn't be surprised if we go on to qualify for the next stage of the Champions League, and win the next few Premier League games as well. And then all of a sudden, all this talk about Ole's job kind of goes away a little bit. And then we have a run of bad games like we did when we played Chelsea, Arsenal, and Istanbul. And then all of a sudden it comes back. And I just feel like if that happens again, as I said before, I'm giving Ole one more chance. If I see that inconsistency again, which I really do fear I might, then I'm not sure what to say about Ole. I'm not sure what to say. I don't want to say that he needs to leave. I really don't want to. I don't want it to get to that. But needs must, needs must. Welcome, Matthew Jones. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it as always. I'll get you on the stream, no problem at all. Yeah, Tom. Listen, mate. Don't hate the player, hate the game, mate. Don't hate the player, hate the game, Tom. Don't hate the player, hate the game. As I said, it's a wide. I mean, they're coming to me, mate. As you can tell. I mean, look how many there are in the chat right now. I mean, there's just, it's amazing, absolutely amazing. Make sure you check out Footy Talk as well. He says he's doing NBA content. If you do like NBA content, feel free to do so. Feel free to check that out. And also his other content as well. Make sure you do check it out. And if anyone's got any other channels they want me to shout out, please do feel free to do so. And I'll shout them out, because it's about sharing the love, sharing the community. West Brom, I've kind of talked a bit about them. Any players to watch out for? Sam Johnston, former Manchester United goalkeeper. I'm not sure if you guys remember him. Reserve goalkeeper. Didn't really get too many games in the first team. But he was a Manchester United player at one point, and now West Brom's first choice goalkeeper. So we'll see Sam Johnston playing against us. And probably, as most former Manchester United goalkeepers do, they'll be pulling out a ridiculous performance. And especially at Old Trafford as well. I mean, the amount of times Ben Foster has produced ridiculous saves, or the other guy, I can't remember his name, the guy who played for Burnley, Tom Heaton. He's another one that does that all the time. It's so frustrating. But I wouldn't be surprised. Do not be surprised if he pulls off a ridiculous performance. It's not our fault you weren't good enough, mate. It's not our fault you weren't good enough. So hopefully he's not watching, and I haven't just given him all the motivation that he needs. But I wouldn't be surprised if he produces an absolute masterclass in goal. West Brom, that's all I can really say about West Brom to sum it up, is they lost to Fulham 2-0. They couldn't score against Fulham. If we lose to West Brom, I'm done. I'm actually done. I might have to quit. The beard's coming off. If we lose, the beard is coming off. So, or whatever this beard is coming off. So that's all I'm going to say on West Brom. They lost to Fulham. They could not beat Fulham. They lost. They didn't draw, they lost. They lost to a Fulham side which is, they're pretty well already in the Championship. They're already preparing for life in the Championship. If I was a Fulham fan, I think I would already prepare for life in the Championship. So they lost to Fulham. We can't lose to these guys. We cannot lose to these guys. I'm not ruling it out, but we just can't. We just can't. And if we do, I think everyone should have an early night. The game's going to finish at 10 o'clock. Probably the best time to go to bed if we lose. Will I even be doing a stream after that? I don't know. Maybe the Curb Your Enthusiasm music's coming. Maybe it is. Who knows? But I just think for me, West Brom, they're not a bad team. Their last game against Spurs, actually, I watched it, and they were decent. They got kind of unlucky in the end. They just couldn't hold out Spurs any longer. But actually, they were probably the best side in that game for most of it. Spurs just had the better attacking players on the day and got the job done. A few kind of lapses in concentration. But, they can defend well. Slaven Bilic is a very good manager at organising teams. As Tom said, a Bilic masterclass on the cards. Maybe it is. Who knows? But I just think in terms of the quality we have and the way we play against Everton, if the players are up for it, we should win this game comfortably. We should. But Man United this season, there's no way you can guarantee anything like that. On to Manchester United. First, let's talk about the injury news. Obviously, Luke Shaw's not going to be available, but Alex Telles looks like he's going to be coming back into the side, which is great, and that's really exciting because, going forward, we haven't been brilliant on our flanks. Wan-Bissaka hasn't really been great. Luke Shaw has actually not been too bad. He's had 2 assists in 2 games. But having someone like Alex Telles, what he can do with the ball at his feet and the way he crosses the ball, when you've got someone like Edinson Cavani who may be used because of the lack of fitness for Mason Greenwood and Marcus Rashford, someone like Cavani might be used tomorrow. So to have Telles whipping it in for Edinson Cavani might be a match made in heaven. I saw Cavani's performance as well against Uruguay. I watched that game. I had to do a match report on that game, and Cavani was very good. He looked like his old self. He looked like the player he was back in 2014. So hopefully he can replicate that form for his club side and not have the Pogba effect. And you guys will know what I'm talking about. So Telles looks like he's going to replace Luke Shaw back in the side. Obviously, Phil Jones is also injured, so that's a bummer. Obviously, he's someone who we'd love to see in the starting 11. But yeah, apart from that, everyone else took part in training. Even Eric Bailly took part in training, which I completely forgot he was injured. When someone's injured so often that you forget that he's injured. He came back into the side. He was training today, I saw in the photos, and being as chaotic as usual as Eric Bailly is. But I've always said this about Eric Bailly, is that if he can keep himself fit, he is definitely up there with one of our best centre-backs. And obviously you're going to have Harry Maguire starting. He got a rest, obviously, didn't play against Belgium, but did play against Iceland. So you'll have those 2 games against Iceland and Ireland that he played in the international break, which actually I thought he played really well in both those games. So for me, I just read a comment. He didn't play 5 minutes. I watched it. No. Listen, I watched Uruguay's game against Colombia. Don't. I know the facts here. I'm talking facts. You didn't watch the game. You did not watch the game. Oh, I'm sure that's not the first time I'm going to be disagreeing with Owen in this stream. But we'll save that for the next 20 minutes or so. But yeah, so for me, what was I even saying? I completely forgot what I was saying now. But all I know is that Cavani for me looks like he could play, and I think that with the players we've got coming back in, we should have enough quality. Someone remind me what I was saying before I got put off. Someone remind me what I was saying. Tom says Telles, my man, will get an assist tomorrow. Easy, I'm calling it. I hope you're right, man. I hope you're right. Sean seems to agree. Says Telles will be putting in some sensational crosses. I hope so. And especially with Cavani on the pitch. You can't, I don't care if Cavani is, 35 years old. I don't care. That guy knows where the back of the net is. One of the top goal scorer in Europe last year. No, that's rubbish. No. Okay, one of the top goal scorers in Europe's top 5 leagues, for a decent period of time. He knows where the back of the net is. He's played in multiple major tournaments, World Cups. I don't care if he's 35 years old. He knows where the back of the net is, and his movement is sensational as well. Really, really good movement. So if you put a good cross in there, he will get on the end of it. Oh, Sean, mate. Don't be sticking up for. Don't. He doesn't need that. Well, listen. We'll get him on. Oh yeah, Nicolas Sula. I saw the Sula news actually saying that he's dreaming of coming to Manchester United. Maybe he said that when he was about 15 years old. Now I don't think that so much. I wouldn't want to leave Bayern Munich at this point. We're just getting right to the peak. They're getting right to the peak of their powers right now. Lewandowski is a machine. They added Leroy Sané to a team that scored the most goals in Europe last year. Why do they even need him? They're just adding him for fun. Anyway, that's for a Bayern fan to talk about. But going into this game, I'm looking forward to it. I think the forward line, who Ole goes up front, is going to be a major talking point, which obviously when I get the guests on, I will be debating that with you guys, because I think that's the main part of the pitch, which is in doubt, obviously, with no Rashford, no Greenwood. You've got Martial and Cavani there. I don't know what system he's going to play either. Maybe, he might go with a bit more of attack-minded formation. I know Owen's going to say, no, we should stick with the 5 at the back, even against West Brom at home. I know that's what he's going to say. I don't even need to ask him. But we'll see what Solskjaer does. He likes to change the formation a lot. He likes to do that, so we'll see. But that'll definitely affect who we play up front. And in midfield as well. An abundance of options. But the way he was talking in his press conference, and I just watched it before he went live today, Ole was a little bit, coy about adding players who had just played on Wednesday in the international break, adding them straight back into the side. He was saying that, some players are recovering from fitness from international duty. So I'm not sure whether players like Daniel James or someone like Paul Pogba will be included in the starting 11, just because of how, they played the international break quite, it was, I can't remember when, but it was like midweek, so they're not going to be at full fitness, according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at least. I don't think there's any problem with that, but the matter of international friendlies during a pandemic is a completely different one. Matthew, thanks for joining, appreciate it, mate. Says Greenwood being ill is probably bullshit. Seems like there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. I wouldn't be surprised, mate. I wouldn't be surprised with everything that's going on with Mason Greenwood. Philly Talk says, Kieran, I almost choked on a bone whilst eating fried chicken. It's good that you're still here. It's good you didn't choke. That's luck, mate. That is luck. You know how you get a wishbone? You got a luck bone right there. You didn't choke on it. Fire the bag against West Brom, I dare, Owen. Yeah, listen, I'm not surprised. Mate, I'm telling you, he's my boy right there. What a goal that was from Daniel James. I hasten to say it, but Ryan Giggs-esque. I mean, has Ryan Giggs ever scored a goal like that? I'm not sure. No, I'm joking. Listen, Daniel James, I like him as a kid. He seems like he really does want to play for Man United. Whether he's got the quality to do it is another question. But to be fair, it was a brilliant goal. A very, very good goal. I think against West Brom, though, is probably the least likely team that he's going to do well against, considering they're going to want to play a bit of a low block. They're going to be playing on the counter-attack. And Daniel James is much better against sides who play a very high line, because you can get him behind, and he's that out ball to get him behind. So we'll see what Ole does. But you know what? I'm going to get the guests on now. We're nearly 20 minutes into the stream. By the way, if you haven't already, feel free to leave a like, guys, as well, if you are new around here, and subscribe to the channel as well. Well, I should say subscribe to the channel as well if you are new around here, and leave a like if you are enjoying the stream. But it's that time again, ladies and gentlemen, where we open the floor up to the masses. And the masses, I mean the Red Devil Weekly fan base, the Man United fan base in here. We haven't got Sifo in here yet, or any other rival fans, so we'll see what happens throughout the course of the evening. But yeah, if you want to join in, please do click that link in the live chat right now, and we'll get you on. We'll have a chat as we usually do on Red Devil Weekly. Nice new headphones. Thank you very much. It only took 18 minutes, but yeah, you noticed. These are the new headphones. A little bit more expensive. We've got some money coming into the channel now, so a little bit more expensive. Just to be clear, no money is coming in. No money. This is out of my own pocket, my hard-earned cash to pay for these. So, don't be getting ideas. But if any sponsors are out there watching and would like to sponsor the channel, we're very clean. We never swear. We never, make any kind of crude suggestions about anything. We're always very civil. So if any sponsors are out there that want to take a chance on the channel, please do. And email me or even tweet me at Red Devil Weekly. Please do, because I would love the money at this time of year. Anyway, enough of me begging. We've got the guests on. Let's add them in.
Oh my god. About sponsors.
Listen, Tom. Listen. If a sponsor comes calling, I'm not shutting the door on them. I'm saying, come in. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the family. Honestly, you can't turn down that sort of money. You can't turn it down. Nicholas, thanks for joining as well. Appreciate it. Says, do you think Greenwood will start? Well, that is a good point. A good question, Nicholas. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think Solskjaer, watching him in his press conference, I'm not confident that he'll start. There seems to be a lot of rumours around him, and I don't know. I just think the way Solskjaer is speaking today in his press conference, I doubt that Greenwood or Rashford's going to start either, because obviously Rashford withdrew from the England squad. So I doubt that either of those two players are going to start. Well, we'll start with Tom then. You know what, Tom? We'll start with you then. And thanks to all the guests that are on, as you can see. Make sure you check out all the channels as well that I mentioned and that are on the stream right now. But yeah, Tom, we'll start with you. Obviously, going into this game, I always ask this question, and it's very difficult to answer, especially with this current Manchester United side. But how are you feeling going into this game? Are you confident? Are you nervous? Do you think we'll get the job done?
Well, I thought against Everton we'd get blown away. Yeah, Everton didn't turn up. That's my excuse. And they had John Pickford for goalkeeper. That's the excuse for that game. No, but West Brom, come on, like if we can't beat West Brom at home, we're not going to win a game at home all season. West Brom and Fulham. If you can't be pretty much a champion, the best out of the Championship last season, along with Leeds. Leeds are a different kettle of fish, though, I'd say that. If you can't beat West Brom, then how can you beat PSG and Leipzig, but you can't beat West Brom? It's near enough the same team. Even if you played probably a Gala in the game, you'd still expect to win the game. It's honestly, it's stupid that we're even talking about possibly even losing. 6-7 years ago, you wouldn't have even been talking about losing to West Brom. You'd already won the game before the ball had even been kicked.
Yeah,
and it was as simple as that. But no, I just don't get Ole at the moment, to be honest with you. 1 week the advertisement board's falling down behind him. The next week he's kicking off at the FA and the Premier League about fixturing. The next he's happy, clappy, smiling. Then he pulls out weird comments about when he gets asked about players such as Greenwood and everything. To stop all the mediocrity and to stop all of the talk, just play him. It's as simple as that. Then you stop all of this hesitation around, what's going on? Has he banned him from, having a couple of bevies or having some, lasses round at the weekend or something? No lasses after 10 o'clock or something. It's hilarious, to be honest with this manager. One week you'd think he'd won the lottery. Next week, I don't even know. You'd think he'd just been to a funeral. He's so different to other managers, to be honest with you. I've never known anybody who can smile so much after losing 4-0 away at Everton, for example. How can you smile after that? How can you smile after getting, pummeled against such as Istanbul? How can you smile? I just don't understand. I'd be absolutely kicking. I'd be like Roy Keane. I'd be booting the doors down and everything, shouting at her. I just don't understand how you can do that. But in terms of West Brom, like I say, Slaven Bilic, I hate managers like that. Him. I hate managers like him. Sean Dyche, I hate him. Ole can't beat Sean Dyche, yet he could beat Pep Guardiola, and he could actually have a decent game against Klopp. Two of the best managers in the world. You can have decent games or probably win the games, but he can't be, a probably Championship level manager, just like lower level Premier League manager. Like it's ridiculous, and it's so simple. Anybody, if any of us here wanted to be a manager or a coach, we know what we have to do. It when you play Manchester United, just play everybody behind the ball and just play counter attack. Just do what we want to do week in, week out. We just want teams to come onto us, and then we want to play counter attack. But teams just do that against us because they already know. And this is what I mean. Because us as fans already know, managers are going to know. Qualified managers like Ancelotti and Chuffing Mourinho and everybody, they know what they're doing. They're even smarter than us. So I think they're going to know what they're going to be doing. And it's simple what West Brom are going to do tomorrow. I'd be very surprised if Slaven Bilic plays open and expansive against us tomorrow. I'd be very, very surprised if he did that. What I'm going to say is this. Lose tomorrow and he goes. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any excuses.
You reckon if so, do you think the board would sack him, or do you think, is that just your opinion?
The board are going to back him. Why wouldn't they? If he doesn't get sacked after getting embarrassed against Spurs 6-1, then what does he have to do to get sacked? Seriously, I don't understand what. And I'm not coming out here and putting a whole Ollie out campaign on here or anything. No, but you've not won a single home game. We're coming nearly to Christmas. We're only a month away from Christmas. Probably about 3 or 4 weeks away from Christmas, and you've not won a game at home. And you consider that you start the season from September to then December, and you've not won a game at home. That is a cause for concern. That is a major cause for concern. Old Trafford used to be a fortress. Man United used to go probably 20, maybe, I don't know, between 15, 20, maybe 25 games a season unbeaten. They only used to lose on the odd occasion, or it was an amazing game, but we ended up losing the game 1-0, for example, or by 1 goal. That was it. But now it's completely different. Now we're getting embarrassed by Crystal Palace. Wilfried Zaha's coming back and giving us nightmares. We're getting ripped apart by just the annoying players that I wish we had, but we don't. And like I say, it's just embarrassing with this manager at times. Why buy players that you're not going to play? Why did he accept Cavani if you're not going to use him at least at some point in time? Tomorrow is a perfect time to use him, but he won't use him. He'll play Martial. If Rashford can play, he'll play him, even though he's probably been injured. If Lindelof can play, he'll probably play him. Probably if Eric Bailly could play, he'll probably play him.
Here we go.
Because it's just hilarious, to be honest with him. Absolutely hilarious with how he just wants to choose people out of nowhere, even though they've been crocked.
Yeah, listen. To be honest with you, I agree with what you're saying. I think with the signings, obviously we've made this point quite a few times, to be fair, on the stream, which is it's obvious that a lot of the signings that were brought in this summer weren't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signings. You look at someone like Donny van der Beek. The fact that how can a £40 million signing not be starting week in, week out? And the only explanation I think most United fans have is the fact that don't ask that. Anyway, listen.
It's not of me. It's of yours truly on the screen right there.
Yeah, let's just skip through it. I don't know how you got hold of that picture, but anyway, we'll move on from that. Matthew Jones, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I can hear you, mate. Good to have you with us. Obviously, you heard what Tom had to say there. In terms of the game, are you excited? Are you confident going into this one? I saw in the live chat you said that we're going to give them a proper battering. Are you still confident after what Thomas said there, or do you think he's made some points to make you nervous?
No, I'm not nervous for the game. I think we'll win comfortably. I think we need to win as well and sort our home record out. So, yeah, I mean, their top goal scorer is Callum Robinson. He's got 2 goals, so they don't really pose much attacking threat. They've got Pereira as well, but he's only got 1 goal and 2 assists. So I think they do leak a lot of goals. I mean, they've leaked the most amount of goals in the Premier League so far. So we can definitely get at that back 4. And I think it's a must-win game for Ollie as well, because I think if we lose that game at home against West Brom, I think he will. I think I would personally sack him, but I don't think the board will. I think they'll give him to at least Christmas now. So obviously, I do think Axel Tuanzebe will start, because I saw that Lindelof he's hurt his back, so it'll be nice to see him play with Maguire or. But yeah, I'm confident for the game. I think we'll win. So yeah.
I like that. I like a bit of confidence. I like that. And to be honest, we should have confidence, really, especially after what we did against Everton. But you never know with Manchester United. Sean, great to have you on from Worldwide Red Show. Make sure to check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, Sean, always great to have you on the channel. Obviously, Matthew there, very confident, and spoke about Axel Tuanzebe potentially starting. In terms of the back line, we'll move it a little bit on. In terms of the back line, is the Maguire and Tuanzebe partnership the one that we should be looking at going forward, or do you think someone like an Eric Bailly also gets back in there?
Well, thanks for having us on, Kieran. I'm doing my best to channel my prepubescent Kieran face. I shaved it off. I would say for me, it's going to be Axel and Harry Maguire tomorrow, I believe, because Victor played a lot. So I agree with what Matt was saying earlier. I just feel like that we need someone fast. And as much as we all love Eric Bailly, and he is an absolute nutter, the guy just puts his head in the most ridiculous places ever. He's just bound to give up PKs. He's bound to get hurt. And so, I mean, can we trust him going forward to have a consistent run in the team? I don't think so. And I love the guy. He's constantly hurt. And, you know, I don't know if you guys remember. I'm trying to think of who we were playing when he came on, and he gave up a penalty with a handball. And it was hilarious because he jumps up and he like throws his arm out like chicken wings it, and he's looking like, what did I do? Like, it's just like, really, bro?
Oh yeah.
It's like, and he's looking like, who, me? It's like, yeah, bro, yeah, you did it. But for me,
I can't even remember.
For me, I think that the back four should pick itself this week. You know, it should be not by Maguire and Tuanzebe. Obviously, AWB will start. Alex Telles is going to be whipping in those sensual crosses right onto the big fat head of Cavani, who won't be playing, by the way. So I'm just talking about my dreams. However, you know, I think that going forward, you know, one of our problems with our whole team is that we have to pick two holding players to protect a weak back two. We literally have two guys doing the role of one. And one isn't even a good defender. He's just Scotty McPassion. So that's what I call the guy. If you're ever on any of my streams, he is McPassion. At the end of the day, until we get the center backs really sorted, I think that we're kind of limited, because ultimately the way that we could fix this would be to play a diamond more often, especially against teams like West Brom, who they're going to sit back. I mean, Slaven Bilic is not foolish. He's going to sit back. And this is a game, for example, where I think we'll end up playing a guy like Juan Mata, because, you know, even though he's 132 years old, at the end of the day, if he cannot help break a team like West Brom down at home, as much as I love the guy, why is he even in the team?
Can I add something to that?
At the end of the day, I feel like, our back line, it's just crazy how well I felt that we were playing at times last season. And then this season, they've literally regressed. So, make of that what you will. I just feel like that, as much as I want to say, I picked 3-0, I think that we should batter them 6-0. Just listen to Tom over the last 2 days. He has me convinced that an absolute train wreck is about to happen tomorrow. And so, because I'm actually at a tournament tomorrow with my kids, I have to watch the game back after it's played. I will not be on any social media, no Twitter, no anything, because I'm telling you right now for free, if somehow our manager bottles a game like this, I mean, you won't even have to look to Mount Vesuvius. I will. You think Trump is tearing up DC? I'm telling you, just watch what Worldwide Reg, the crazy Yank Sean does.
Joe Biden.
We lose this game tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be shirts off, hair out. It's going to be madness.
Oh, I almost want to see us lose just to see that,
Listen,
to see that
if we
happen.
lose tomorrow, I'm telling you, I don't care. I'm talking like I will put on a vinyl leopard thong and pray. I can't handle it. I can't handle this. And Kieran, I just want to say one more thing before I move on, because you said something earlier about consistency. I can 1,000% guarantee you that you're going to see another run of inconsistency. So I want you to get your heart prepared for it now. It's just what we have right now. And I think it's crazy for us to look at an inconsistent board
mentality
that consistently leaves managers out to dry and do what they do. Because we know the board is the biggest problem, right? We get that. However, we can't use that same logic of we've seen this time after time after time and then leave that logic behind when dealing with our manager, because he's inconsistent with how he runs the club. So it is what it is. So, prepare your heart. It's going to happen. And it's okay to realize we need a different manager and still love Ollie the player. It's okay, Kieran. You don't have to get rid of any jerseys. You'll always remember that fateful night in '99. We always want to love it. But at the end of the day, I've seen enough. That's just me.
I respect that. I mean, the thing is, I do agree that I feel like it's inevitable we are going to see some sort of poor performances. I think the next few games are winnable, but I still feel like there are going to be some poor performances in there. So yeah, I'm half preparing myself, but I just don't want to say the word. I don't want to say that. I can't bring myself to say it, but
I'll say it for you. Say it with your chest.
Yeah, we'll say it. We'll create a track in harmony. We'll send you an MP3 of everyone saying it. We're not bothered.
Right, thanks for that, Owen. We'll come to you last, Owen. We'll come to you last but not least. But Daz is here as well. Thanks for joining Daz at Daz's Football Stand. Make sure you check out. Of course, the legend, the living legend that is Daryl Johnson. Dazza, obviously you've heard what the others have had to say. Let's move on to the midfield actually, because it's an interesting dilemma. Because if Ollie wants to go defensive and play at 5 at the back, as we'll get on to, I'm sure, in just a second.
You already started, have you? You already started slating the 5 at the back. Okay.
But if Ollie does want to go a bit more defensive and look to play McTominay and Fred in there, and we'll probably, if that does happen, we'll probably see someone like Bruno Fernandes in there. But in terms of if he wants to play a formation which is a bit more attacking, then we might see the diamond again. In terms of your choice, your opinion, which kind of midfield formation or midfield setup do you think we should go with, and which one's going to be the most effective against West Brom?
You repeat that, it was lagging, mate.
Oh, sorry, Daz. Sorry, mate. Apologies. I was just going to ask about the kind of midfield structure, basically. So, do you reckon it's going to be a diamond, as if with Solskjaer looking to go more attacking against West Brom, or do you think that because we've had more success so far with this season with the 5 at the back, that even though we're playing West Brom, Solskjaer's going to go back to that?
Nah, I don't think he's going to go for back 5. I think the diamond formation, it's a bit inconsistent. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. If I'm not mistaken, I think the diamond against Arsenal that backfired. But no, I prefer to see a diamond rather than the back 5, really. It's a difficult one. I'm not going to lie. Thing is that there's a few formations where you could use a sort of a diamond in. Obviously, there's the 4-2-2. I think people class that as a diamond. That's just 2 centre attacking mids and 2 CDMs. So I wouldn't say that's.
Would you play Pogba?
If it was me, I'd stick with the 4-4-2 diamond, like he's been used before. Say again.
I was just going to add, would you play Pogba in there?
Would I play Pogba?
Would you stick with Scott and Fred? I wouldn't play him personally. I think I'd want to see Matic and then Fernandes and Fred. That'd be my three.
There would only be one. There's only CDM. If it was me, I would have Fred as the CDM. McTominay is about as useful as defending. If it was me, Fred, Pogba, or Van der Beek. If that would be probably the diamond. That would be the diamond I play. If I'm honest, I would stick.
I like that, Daz.
I didn't watch his performances with France because I was watching of Germany getting absolutely topped. That was interesting, but. No, apparently Pogba's played well for France recently, so why not give him?
It's not a surprise.
The last game he did. With Pogba, it's a fitness issue. No, I disagree with that because in the first international game with France, he was poor, and I honestly think that with Pogba we got 2 issues. One, he's never been in a situation like this, but I think that COVID has affected him to where his form is bad. He's always kind of he could be a little lazy looking, but it's been a whole different level. You could tell he's off, and I don't know if it's just all mental. He's the type of guy that when he's on his day is the best midfielder in the world. But the problem with him is his day is one every 10 matches, and we're tired of seeing it. So he epitomizes inconsistency. So for me, with Pogba, you either have to play him and get him right or sell him. This whole leaving him on the bench, it's just annoying to have someone with that ability. If he's not going to do it, then just ship him out. I mean, for me, it's no agenda. He could be great, but to me, there's something else with this guy. I mean, inconsistency kills me. It's like what he can be. Like Tom says, we talk about this a lot. I don't want to hear any more of Pogba about his potential. He's 27, 28 years old. We know what he is. It's just, for me, I think he gets some unfair stick. There's times he plays really well. And like, give you an example. Everyone is like peeing themselves of excitement over Dan James' goal, right? Over one moment in an international. Paul Pogba has tons of moments in internationals, and we still want to slate him. This last comment that he made the other day, read the whole thing. It was taken out of context. Fabrizio took it out of context. He was basically saying, right now I suck. When I get around these guys, these are my homies right now. We won a World Cup together. It's like a breath of fresh air. He wasn't saying United sucks. He didn't say nothing like that. However, he said so much crap in the past, we can't give him the benefit of the doubt. So for me, I like Pogba, but I still think he should go. I just think that some of the way we approach Pogba is a little biased for me. We don't give the same hate toward other players. That's just my opinion. I mean, it is what it is. I think that if we held other people to the same standard as we do Pogba, I think that it would be different. But we don't. And I don't know if it's because of the price tag. I don't know if it's because he's, I don't know if there's a racial element. I don't know if it's because he's French. I don't know what it is. His attitude sometimes is just dumb. If he'd shut his agent up, I think a lot of us would like him even more. So me, I'm not. Just get Pogba out of my club. He's a toss-up one. But again, I'm not up his butt like some of the Pogba FC guys. Sorry, that's probably not a nice way to say it. But I think with Pogba, I like the guy, but to me, kind of back to what Matt was saying, a lot of times he does just show up for France. And with us, it's like, well, if I'm there, I'm there. And when he comes through, it's like, where has this guy been? He's like world class. So for me, I think the club would be crazy not to sell this guy. And if we don't sell him, right? And if Paul Pogba stays for 18 months and leaves on a free, listen, that is one of the most slap you in the face mercenary situations I've ever seen. And I'll lose a ton of respect for the guy. But at the end of the day, I think we should sell him. I don't care if it's for $50 million. We should sell him right now, get what we can, wave goodbye, and cut our losses. That's just me. I mean, Camavinga en route. That's just me.
Well, there's the thing. The situation we have with Pogba is kind of similar to, in some ways, to that of Mesut Ozil in Arsenal. The fact that he's being paid a ridiculous sum of money at Arsenal to not play, and you just think when you've got someone like that, if he's not playing week in week out and he's not performing for you, then we may as well move him on. And the problem is, it looks like we're finding is that he wants that move to Real Madrid, but Real Madrid aren't reciprocating. They're not.
They want Bruno.
Exactly. So, and also I think as well, Woodward and the Glazers and the people that sort out the transfers are the kind of guys who will hold out for that 100+ million figure for Paul Pogba.
There's no way. But the thing is, Kieran, they don't want to sell him because of his commercial value.
True.
Like I think with Pogba, he's been my favorite player, but for me, I'm like, get out. And so there's no agenda with me. People are like, oh, you just don't like the guy. No. I love the guy. I just feel like at this point, I think he gets some unfair criticism, but I think he hasn't done enough to really have us back him the way that some people back him. Some people back him like he's Jesus's first cousin or something. It's like, come on, man. It's not that serious. I think with anything, I just feel like with our club, it's like you have to pick one side or the other. You have to be either like Pogba walks on water or Pogba's trash. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's so much with our whole fan base like that. But sorry to cut off Matt. I don't want to mean to cut him off. I agree with a lot of what he said, but I feel like we really have to take a balanced approach to Pogba. But at the end of the day, the best thing for the club, for me, is get rid. I don't know what you guys think. That's just for me.
I mean, there's definitely players out there which if we'd sold in the summer, you look at players like Thomas Partey, you look at these players that went to other clubs, we could have definitely gone in for them, but alas, obviously. But the thing is, obviously, if Pogba plays to the best of his ability, he's an amazing player to have in your team. But there's no way,
best midfielder in the world, probably. I'd say.
Yeah, but
okay.
Like once every 10 games, like we need better than that. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
But he's consistent. That's the problem.
Because he learned from his manager.
It could be that. It could be. I think I don't know with Pogba. Like, I mean, it's just. I feel like every season we're having the same conversation where it's like, we see glimpses of what he can do, and we go, if he just plays like that, he will be the best player in the Premier League. He'll win that award off Kevin De Bruyne, but he just never is. He's not consistent enough. I know, Owen, you obviously have got a lot of opinions on Paul Pogba,
My
and
only problem
we'll
with
come.
him is he's
Sorry, Daz, you cut out a little bit there. Sorry.
he's way inconsistent.
Yeah, he is. No, as I said, as we've said, it is way inconsistent, to be honest.
He's too inconsistent.
Yeah, 100% agree. Owen, Paul Pogba then, and also in turn, yeah, very very much like Ollie. To be fair, very much like him. But we'll come to you, Owen, finally, because last but least. No, I'm joking.
They say save the best to last. No, I'm joking. Oh wait, no, Mike. I thought you were going to set me up with a question.
Okay, I will set you up with a question then. Yeah, so obviously we talked a bit about the defence, a bit about midfield. Up front, I know you banged the drum for Mason Greenwood. You said on multiple occasions that Mason Greenwood should play. That Rashford isn't as good as we think he is. You've had a lot of strong opinions on these sort of players. Who do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should go with up front tomorrow?
I think up front tomorrow. I mean, I'd still play Greenwood, but I think that he definitely won't play him because as I've talked about before, he's weak-minded. He doesn't have the stomach. In terms of like the media pick our team half the time. Like the media get onto Greenwood, he just gets dropped. Like God forbid the media get onto Bruno Fernandes because he'll be dropped next week. That's the problem with Ollie. But yeah, that's another thing. That's a whole different situation. But I think Cavani will play. But I'd pick Greenwood. Like the fact that he was complaining about like not having sleep or whatever. And he played against Leipzig and scored with like his first touch on like 2 hours sleep. Like that's the GOAT. That's the GOAT right there. How can you not sleep at all and then still bang one in the bottom corner like with your first touch? Like come on. I'd say Cavani will start with Greenwood play up front. The Rashford thing, like, obviously Rashford's a form player. I mean, probably not a lot of players, but he's a form player. Like when he's in form, he's in form. But when he's not in form, he really is. Like it's a struggle to watch him at times when he's not in form. Honestly, like he's one of those players where he needs confidence, and he's got that confidence at the moment. It seems like he's got the backing of the nation, to be fair, and he's doing some great things. I think that might be helping him. But yeah, with Rashford, for me, I really like him as a player, but it's the fact that when he's off form, he literally will just do nothing in a game, and everything will be off. Like his finishing will be off. He won't run in behind, and like I just feel like with Rashford, it's keep him in the team for now, but we can't just keep. There's some points where he's literally been in the team for a few months and he's done nothing, so I wouldn't keep him in the team. I'm interested to know that this was a Man United versus West Brom preview, but it's the Paul Pogba show again. He seems to be talked about a lot, and why wouldn't you if you're on talent? They're probably the best midfielder on the planet, which he is. For me,
I'm gonna. I know we've had this debate before, but you've mentioned it there. You said on talent, he's the best midfield player in world football. None of us are disputing his talent. Like no one is disputing how good he is as a player. It's just.
Yeah, I know that. But what I'm trying to say is like in terms of like selling him. First of all, we'll definitely sell him because Ed Woodward is probably one of the most stingy He basically, like, Ed Woodward has pictures of Daniel Levy in his bedroom. That's his level of stinginess he wants to get to. Like, Ed Woodward, like, we bought Pogba as an asset to make money off, and we're going to try and we're definitely not going to let him leave for free in the summer. Not in the summer, I mean in like 18 months' time. We're not going to let him leave for free. I'm sure of that, because the Glazers, if you told the Glazers, oh, by the way, your £90 million asset, yeah, we're gonna give that away for free. They're not having it. So I think Pogba will inevitably be sold and inevitably flourish. I don't know where he'll go, but he'll inevitably flourish, and we'll be looking, and we'll become another meme again, going, why did we let him go? But that's
But at that point, he'll be 28 years old. Like, we've got pretty much we've squeezed all the Pogba that we could get out of it.
Isn't 28 your peak now? Isn't 27, 28 is around your peak? Your peak years? No, but I just think, like, I don't know, with Pogba, I think we're blaming Pogba a lot, but is it really his fault? Is it really his fault? At the end of the day, the coaching's. Ollie has failed to improve a single player since he's been manager. So how is he going to make Pogba play well? The fact is, Pogba under a lot of other managers works. He works. Under Ollie,
it just so happens we've had the two managers that he doesn't work under.
Well, yeah, you get Mourinho, who's an ego. He battles with egos. He's basically like
That's
Mourinho.
Mourinho.
No, carry on, Matt.
Just to go off your point, I mean, Carragher said it in midweek that Pogba only plays under certain managers. Now, if you've got a player, a 90 million valued player, and he only plays under certain managers, then I don't want that player in my football club.
But in fairness, I wouldn't listen to anything Jamie Carragher says out of his filthy scout's mouth. Especially a mouth that spits on little kids and all of a sudden still gets a job. But no, I agree with the point. I'm just saying, just got to consider the source.
Always. When it's coming from a Scouser, it's untrustworthy.
It's a fact that, like, when don't you then have to look at the recruitment in terms of, like, it's not Pogba's fault that he, like, obviously he decided to come back, but then the fact that Mourinho didn't deal with him properly, is that technically Pogba's fault? I mean, I think we're a bit, for me, sometimes I think fans can get into a bit of the Graham Souness way of thinking and sort of being like, oh, you got to run back all the time and all this stuff. And it's like, well, some of the best players in world football stand on the halfway line. They don't get bothered not running back.
Yeah, but does it take more than 4 years for them to adjust into a football club? Like, he's been
Good point.
He's been here 4.5 years, and we still don't know what his best position is. We're playing him on the left wing. He had that one good season. Was it the year before last, where he was our top goal scorer, and he had a good season then, but he hasn't seemed to have sort of knuckled down. I know you can make the excuse with COVID, but I think it goes before that as well. I think it's before he got COVID. It's last year as well. I think
for me, I think the big issue here, if you really step back from it, is I think we're all right, and this is the problem with Pogba. Right, this is the enigma that's Pogba. Because what Matt's saying is right. It's not that he's wrong. It's not that Owen's wrong, because we can look back and say he hasn't been managed right. That obviously Ed and them never built a team around him, which he needs. Pogba cannot just grab a team by the scruff of the neck and be that guy. He's more of a Berbatov too. He's not going to run around Scotty McPassion kissing the badge and all this kind of stuff. So the problem with Pogba is that we all know what he can do and could be, but also I think the issue when you really watch him, I think this stuff has to be built around him, and it wasn't. I think that he's definitely not a Jose type player, so there was contention there. When Ollie first come in, he played him in a free-flowing system in a 4-3-3, and he was the best midfielder in the world. And then Ollie got the job and went completely defensive. And the thing is, I feel like we're all right. This is what irritates us about Pogba. It's like what he really could be. And I think with Pogba, I don't think he has a bad attitude or anything. I just think that it's the type of guy that he has all of the tools to be the greatest. I mean, you're talking about 28. That's when Yaya came in, I believe. So at the end of the day, he could be like the GOAT, but does he want to be? I think there could be a psychological issue with Pogba where he doesn't even want to be that guy. He doesn't want to be the greatest or the leader. He just is like, yeah, I'm so good. It just comes easy for me. And he does at times lollygag around. The PKs he's given up are a joke. He even said it was a joke. So for me, I think that's the irritation of Pogba. It's that we know what he can be, but again, like I believe what Matt said, it's been 4 years. So it's not like, when is he going to do it? Like for me, I believe he would flourish somewhere else if they built around him. But for me, for him, he should go and flourish. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's ever going to happen at United because our filthy, greedy board are never going to build around the guy the way it's necessary. If anything, we already have Bruno who has the free role we wish Pogba would have ever had, and he doesn't. And you can't have two players like that in the team because when Pogba's not going to play a sitting role or play a real disciplined role, if you let him be free and let Bruno be free, like we tried to earlier in the season, we'll just get picked apart through the midfield.
I mean, if you compare him to the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and Thiago at Liverpool, they're the players that I guess we can put him against, rank him against, and I think that he's miles apart. You look at Kevin De Bruyne; he dictates the match. He'll always create chances, and he'll always be in the game. Where I feel like Pogba, he's sort of in and out of games, and I feel like with a player like of his quality, he should be doing a lot better. So.
But I know what Owen's going to say to this. The truth is, you're talking about Pep, a system manager, versus Ole Gunnar freestyle, as some people like to call it, where Ole is pretty much let's just sit back, soak up pressure, and let our attacking players express themselves. Maybe Pogba needs a Allegri style coach that builds a system around him and makes him stay in the system. Because obviously, if you just let him float in and out of games, not focused, look what we get. So I think that plays a big role in it as well.
Yeah, I think the point about needing a team to build have a team that's like built around him, I think is a very good one because he's been in Man United 4 seasons and he just hasn't had the quality around him. And obviously, I remember when we brought in the Nemanja Matic and everyone saying this is the guy who's going to unlock Pogba to go further forward and do his thing. And we're sitting here 2 seasons later, or even maybe 3 seasons later, and just saying the exact same things we were saying back then. So I agree with what you said, Sean. I don't think it's going to happen under these owners, and I think we should just look at it now as an opportunity to get as much money as we possibly can from him, and bring some players in who we can actually integrate into our system under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or under a new manager down the line. Who knows? I'll bring in you, Footy Talk, because I know obviously you in the chat you wanted to be added back in. I apologise for all the technical stuff, but I mean, I guess you can say whatever you like, really. In terms of obviously what these guys were saying about Pogba, or even anything about the West Brom game, if you want. But yeah, just your general thoughts, really. Let's start with the West Brom game, actually, and just your general thoughts going into the game. Are you confident? I think in terms of what we've heard from on the call today, it's kind of a half and half of well, most people are confident that we should win, but not fully confident that we are going to get the job done. But what are your thoughts, Footy Talk?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
You know what it is? You look at West Brom, you think, the problem is that they're gonna live.
I can't hear him.
Oh, sorry for talking. You're cutting out a little bit. You're cutting out a little bit, mate. I think we've lost Sean there as well. I'm not sure if Sean's gone. By the way, welcome Red Devil Studio. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. Make sure to check out Red Devil Studio as well.
Old Man G in the house.
Old Man G in the house, indeed. Footy Talk. Carry on, man. Sorry to interrupt you.
West Brom, they're gonna defend, I think, because that's what these type of teams do to Man United. And can I just talk about Pogba?
You can talk about Pogba, of course.
Now, Pogba is a good player. No one's denying that. On his day, he can be one of the best midfielders in the world.
It's true.
It's just that Pogba wants to play the Pogba likes. Now, I actually think that Pogba is a better player than Bruno Fernandes, but Fernandes, he plays consistent every.
Sorry. So I'll let you finish. I'll let you finish, and then Matty can have his say. 'Cause I'm sure he's got some
What
stuff
I
to say
was
about
going
that.
to
But
say
yes,
is
carry on.
that, but what makes Bruno better is that he performs every game and that he plays for the badge.
Yeah, fair
Pogba,
point. Fair point.
I've noticed this. Whenever the people get the ball back, he just never runs back. With Fernandes, he's trying to track back. Pogba's just like, oh, lost the ball. Time to just do my penalty run up back.
And he's given quite a few penalties away as well.
Yeah,
Oh, Kieran, it's just like you can throw that in there.
Going into the game v West Brom, I feel like one player that will start is Donny.
I hope so.
Because if you see Donny, he performs. I don't know if Ollie just likes Pogba, but you can't be doing that. I thought Donny was brought in to sort of challenge Pogba, because he don't look like it.
Well, I don't know.
Now
I don't know.
I'm actually Ollie in.
Oh well, that makes two of us. No. Well, I don't actually know.
Ollie in is because if you look at it, managers like Lampard and Arteta, when they get bad results, they're just like, oh, they'll do better. Solskjaer gets one bad result. Nah, fam, the guy's bad. And do you know what really made me think, well, this media don't like us. Remember when he was fuming after the game v Everton of them having to play early kick-off?
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people saying excuses, but when Klopp and Guardiola said it, they were like, oh, they're right, and I'm just there like, bro, what?
Well, as you know, footy talk, mate. As you know, hated the door, never ignored. That's all I'll say. Listen, obviously, Liverpool, Man City, Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, they can get away with saying a lot more. It can't happen under Sir Alex Ferguson. I mean, the amount of times Sir Alex Ferguson got fined for stuff he said in press conferences and stuff, where other managers were saying similar stuff and weren't getting fined. It's been happening from ages ago. So, I mean, I'm not. I don't know if Solskjaer got fined for what he said or anything, but I don't know if he did. But
can I tell you something as well?
Go on.
I want us to beat West Brom because they have a player that I hate.
Who's that? Sam Johnston?
No, Carlin Grant.
Why do you hate Carlin Grant?
Because he left Huddersfield.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it's probably benefited his career now because he's in the Prem. So you've got to say fair play to him, really.
I do think it's hard for Donny to get a game at the moment because I think Ollie's persisting with his two defensive midfielders, and then you're going to have to play Bruno in there. It's hard to fit Donny in there as well. I think we've got to drop a CDM and put Donny in there as the box to box, and maybe have either Fred or Matic as the CDM, and then give the license to Pogba or Bruno as sort of the number 10. Because I think we need to, we spent 50 million on him. I think we need to somehow get him into the team. I think this would be a great opportunity against West Brom at home. There's no better game than this. So I would like to see him because that's his position. He's not on number 10. And he's not a defensive midfielder. So why not put him as that box to box tomorrow night?
Why not? I think Donny van, for me, I mean, as well, if you look at his performance for the Netherlands, he actually scored a goal as well, which, a trademark Van der Beek goal as well for the Netherlands. He seems to be in good form. He seems to be in good spirits. I think, as you said, if there's any game to start him, it's now. and I'd be very, very disappointed if he doesn't start, to be honest. Owen, we'll bring you into this. Obviously, Matty's mentioned Donny van der Beek. Does he start? Does he start there in that midfield against West Brom for you? And also, talking about the Pogba-Bruno situation, realistically, is it a case of this town ain't big enough for the two of us with both of them? Is that the case?
What, with Pogba and Van der Beek?
No, Pogba and Fernandes.
Fernandes? No, it's not. Under a good manager, it's not.
So you're saying we could play both of those players?
I believe we can.
Manager?
I believe we could.
Okay.
Man City, if under Pep Guardiola they play in the same team. If they both play for Man City, they play in the same team. For me, they would.
I think they're too attackive, both of them. I think Bruno's better as a number 10, but I don't think Pogba's got the. I don't think he's got. I don't know what the word is, but I don't think you can have him as a discipline. Yeah, I don't think he's got the discipline to play as more defensively. So it would be hard to put them both as that sort of attacking side of the game. So
also,
I agree with what you're saying, but yeah, I can't see that.
Kieran?
Yeah, go on.
Do you know the reports of Greenwood being ill? I know
I've heard
that it's a word that I can't say.
Mate, you can say on this channel, mate. Unless sponsors are listening.
I thought you were going for a brand deal.
Listen, listen. As I said, I want to keep the free speech. I want to keep the free speech. But if any brand deals are watching, I'm happy to change that.
Why don't StreamYard sponsor you?
Hey, I've already got this little watermark in the top left-hand corner there. Sorry for the talk. Go on.
I feel like remember the reports of. Now, I don't know if you've heard it about, there was a report from the Daily Mail about footballer doing some bad things, and a lot of people thought it was Greenwood.
Yeah, I saw that. That was a big story in the week, wasn't it? Yeah. Either him or Marcus Rashford, actually.
I don't know, was it the Mirror that reported that Man U fear Greenwood could throw away his career like Ravel Morrison did? For me, I don't
think it could have been.
That's the case.
I'm not sure.
It's always the English players, isn't it? They always seem to get the stick in the media. I don't think it's fair.
No, do you know what it is? The media, they even went after Rashford for buying his mum a house.
They did the same for Raheem Sterling, didn't they? It's the exact same thing. It's like I remember after that.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They've done it to Aaron Wan-Bissaka as well.
That's the thing. I mean, it's funny how like after all that Sterling stuff came out, they were all like, we're gonna address this. We're gonna make sure it doesn't happen again. Then it just keeps happening. So I wouldn't believe what they say, a word they say, to be honest.
Southgate is a hypocrite and all.
No, too bad here. Southgate's
What's that?
If you think about it, when that Greenwood and Foden incident happened, all I heard from Southgate was Greenwood. I didn't really hear anything about Foden.
And he came back into the side and scored 2 goals. So
yeah, exactly. Like when like the Iceland thing happened, like Foden's got like a kid, and like, Greenwood's like free and single. Foden's got a kid, and yet Greenwood got most of the stick. Like I don't really get it. Like
because he plays for Man United, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna want to put more heat on him, won't they? It creates more stories.
Yeah, I remember I was watching
more clicks.
Yeah, I was watching an episode of Sunday Supplement once, and one of the journalists said, "You'll never go poor by writing about Man United." So obviously,
it's true.
It's true.
He literally just said it on TV. So like, that's obviously what they all think. Like, no one really cares about Man City. Like, when they won the league, they might have been like they were in the papers for about a day, and then after that, it's like what's next? Literally, like United could like lose a game, and they'll be in the papers for longer than that. So it's and then on like all like the radio stations like Talk Sport when it's like, oh, is United in a crisis and stuff, and like
it's like that story with Kyle Walker in the summer. It went on for about a day, and then it just no one talks about it. If that was a United player, it would go on for about 4 months. So
do Do you know what? Do you know what's he called? So Lindelof injured, I think. I'm not sure. He has some sort of back injury.
Yeah, apparently.
Now, thank goodness Phil Jones is injured too.
To be fair, that's been the case for about a year, I'm pretty sure.
Have you noticed Phil Jones always gets injured when the transfer window comes up?
Well, I mean, as I said, I mean, he's been injured. I mean, I don't think he's played a single minute this season.
He's
To be
actually
honest-
he's due a testimonial.
To be honest, we haven't seen much entertainment at Old Trafford recently, so it would be nice to see Phil Jones come here.
Maybe it's the best time for him to make a little cameo.
Knowing him, he'd
We
come back and be our best
cannot-
defender. He actually would.
Yeah.
He'd come back and stay in the
We
side
can't
because he
lose
just
to
for
West
some
Brom.
reason.
We can't lose to West Brom. I
I'll
mean,
tell you what, we could make a good go of it though.
I said something to my
Yeah.
friend the other day.
A bit like what Kieran said earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if their goalkeeper has a worldie.
Oh yeah.
It's always those teams at the bottom that just always turn up against us at home.
Tom Heaton every single time he came to Old Trafford. Oh.
Ben Foster as well.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
obviously we beat.
Yeah.
It's like
We beat Watford last time, but-
It's all the former United. Like United, basically any keeper that we let go, like will come back
Yeah.
and just pull off an absolute worldie. And then it's like the next game they'll just spill it into their own net as well. Like when I'll be watching match today, it's like Ben Foster's playing really well last week. What was he doing this week? Oh, he just spilt it in. Oh, so of course.
Yeah, that's so true.
So, talk do you want to do?
West Brom.
Oh,
What's our Kieran? What's
If we
our
lose to
next
West
5 games?
Brom-
I'll look that up for
Sorry.
you.
Oh, sorry,
My
I'll
bad.
look that up.
Carry on, thought you talk.
Oh, so if we lose to West Brom,
We're
I
deeply in the
actually think
cart.
that's a sackable offence.
We're fucked.
So you
The
So
fact
you
that he's
agree
still in a
with-
job is mental. That we're 14th. We're 14th in December and he's still in a job.
I think any other manager, 8 games
But
in, with
his coach
the
will
run we've
do
been
it
on,
better.
they would be gone.
But it's like,
I'm sure of it.
yeah, they would be. They would be literally like 14th. We're 14th in
It's shocking.
December.
This is going to be
December.
really unpopular.
Yeah, I
what
know.
say. This is going to be really unpopular what I say.
They'll fit right in on this channel.
I actually think, and I know what you're going to say, I actually think Klopp wouldn't succeed with this board.
I've said this before. I think if Jurgen Klopp came to United, he'd probably do a better job, but I don't think he'd win the league.
look at Sir Alex's last few years. He struggled to bring in the players he wanted, and that was under the big Glazers. So if he's not going to be able to get the best out of the board, then no one is. But
And the next few
Liverpool
fixtures.
have
Sorry,
so
I'm to cut
many
you off.
injuries right now.
Yeah, they're very unlucky, but we are laughing. I'm not laughing at the injury. I'm laughing at the unfortunate
Well, to be
nature.
fair, they're due a sort of injury crisis like this. They haven't had a player injured in 2 years.
yeah,
That's true. That's true.
Like everyone was sort of sitting there like last season thinking, well, if Van Dijk gets injured, everyone will have a chance. Van Dijk hasn't been injured in like 2 years.
Can I tell you why
He's played like every single
Exactly.
game.
So the next 6 fixtures, by the way, Matty, we've got West Brom tomorrow, as you probably know. Istanbul with week. Then we go
draw that.
away. We go away to Southampton, which is going to be difficult.
Oh,
away to
no.
Southampton,
Oh,
and then we're home to PSG, which
this could be the end of Ollie.
and then we're away to West Ham as well, who are not bad. They're a bit of a bogey time.
They're
And then
all
we're
like
away to
banana-
Leipzig.
They're all like banana skins, like away to West Ham and away to Southampton.
But don't
To be
worry.
honest-
After our game away to Leipzig, we then have the Manchester derby. So that's going to be.
brilliant.
I think
I'ma tell you something.
we'll draw against Bashir in the week, and then we'll beat PSG. I'm going for.
I wouldn't be
I'ma
surprised. I
tell you-
wouldn't be surprised.
I do have a question though. Like, why
The
is it
reason
that?
I'm also not only out is because if you look at Donny van der Beek, I don't think Ollie wanted him. We know Ollie wanted Jack Grealish. He didn't get him. Sancho, we know Ollie wanted him. he didn't get him. And I feel like Ollie don't have a say in transfers. You know, he didn't choose Cavani over Haaland, did he? Manu were just didn't get him. Oh, but I'm kind of glad we didn't get Haaland because of Mino Raiola.
Yeah, but to be
Yeah,
fair,
but he's a robot. Haaland's literally a robot. He's just programmed 30 goals a season into him basically.
Owen.
Like you can tell in interviews where he's being interviewed, it's basically like the answers have just been programmed into him. Like, and as soon as it's a question he doesn't want to answer, he just goes, "I'm not answering that. Goodbye."
I have thought about this quite a lot.
Can I ask you something?
How come we got on such a great run at the end of last season? We seemed like we were turning the corner, and then we've seen this season. It's like the old United. It's the inconsistency. I wonder, what do you think the reason is? Do you think it's still too early on to make that judgment, or?
No, I think it's spot on. I think it's spot on, really.
Yeah, no,
what do you think?
I mean, I just say about, like, I don't know whether it's complacency of, like, oh, like, top four, job done sort of thing. Like, the players last season, it was like, you know, we were so far away from top four, and we clawed it back, and then we got to top four, and it's almost like, you know, when you achieve a goal that you've set out for so long, it's harder to be able to. I don't think Ollie has the minerals to be able to motivate a group of players to go again.
I just want to go off that. I agree with that. Sorry, it's just like whenever we're behind, or whenever it looks like Ollie's in danger, or we're behind but we're trying to achieve a goal, it seems like we do turn up. But when all the pressure's on us, it feels like we just crumble. I think that's just weak mentality.
Yeah, instilled by the manager.
Sorry, Kieran.
No, I was just going to say that, like, you talk about the fact that Ollie. You talk about the fact that it's hard to motivate a team to go again, but surely when we get third and there's always euphoria about actually getting back in the Champions League, surely there's got to be motivation to then go for a title challenge. Like, it's not like it's not like, you know, we've you know, it's often actually the most difficult to motivate your players when you've just won the league, because when you've just won the league, the reason why it was amazing that we retained the league so many times was because when you won the league, you know, as a player, when you are kind of weak-minded, you almost think, okay, yeah, as you said, Owen, like, job done. Like, you know, we've won the league, we've set out to do what we wanted to do this season. You know, it's party time type thing. And the elite players don't think like that. The elite players think it's time to get back to work so we can do it again next year. But
I think
almost when you get Champions League, you think there's surely got to be motivation to go for the league.
I just think it's a mentality problem. I think you look at Liverpool, there's leaders all over that pitch. With United, you could probably say Bruno, and that's about it. So I think that's probably the main reason. It feels like whenever we're behind in a game, we do crumble. So that's obviously a major problem. But.
Yeah, free talk, mate.
Do you want to know why I think that Ronaldo for Pogba deal? Do you want to know why I think they'd actually do it?
Well, I'm guessing you're going to say something about marketing or something like that. But I'll go ahead.
I think they'd do it business. Man U would become the biggest sports franchise because I think it's the Dallas Cowboys. They're the biggest sports franchise right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'd only get Ronaldo if we sold Pogba, because we don't have you have Marcus Rashford, but you don't have many other players in there who, you know, will attract a massive audience. So that's the only possibility I can see if we get rid of Pogba in the summer. But
yeah, just want to say welcome, Mr. Boba Django. By the way, I'm probably going to wrap up very, very shortly. So tell you what we're going to do. We're just going to go down the line and just get our final thoughts, our score predictions going into the game. And if you guys are still watching the live chat, thank you very much. You're absolute soldiers for watching this far. Make sure you check out all the channels that have been mentioned. If you want to get your predictions in, please feel free to do so. But we'll start with you, Owen. We'll start with you. Prediction going into this game.
It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. Because what maybe we haven't touched on that much in this preview is the fact that we are grade A rubbish at breaking teams down. I mean, we could barely break. Who's the team we played in the Carabao Cup? Is it League One? The League One team we played. I forgot.
Well, the team we won 3-0.
Yeah, but like, I mean, no Luton. We could barely break down Luton when they park the bus. So,
Fair.
I think West Brom will come, park the bus, and whether we can break them down. Like, we should be able to break them down. Like, do you remember under Mourinho we played? I think we were rubbish. We were cat, but we played Fulham and we beat them 4-1. Like, I feel like it's going to be like that, where it's like we're like very inconsistent and we're pants at home. But West Brom are so poor that we'd have to try hard to beat them, like to lose. I mean, we'd have to try. It would be difficult to lose if we tried. So I feel like we'll get the W. I reckon we'll actually I think we'll win quite comfortably. I wouldn't be surprised if we conceded. I'm going to go for. I mean, I was going to say 4-1, but I'm going to say 3-1. 3-1. I think that Fernandes will score and Cavani. I think, yeah, Cavani.
All right then.
Hopefully we play a 5. That'll only happen if we play a 5 at the back.
Yeah, I doubt it. Against West Brom, you're having a laugh.
Well, we can't break teams down with a 4, so how about we try 5? That's all I'm saying.
If we can't break West, I mean, I don't care if we've got one guy up front. We should be breaking down West Brom. Welcome, Dermot Coyle. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. We're just wrapping up now, actually. So unfortunately, you've just missed it. You'll have to watch all this back. But thanks for joining anyway. Appreciate it. Matty, what are your thoughts? Obviously, you mentioned that we should get a comfortable win. Do you agree with Owen? Do you agree? Sorry, I turned Dutch then. A comfortable win. Do you agree with Owen? Do you think it's going to be 3-1, or do you think it's going to be even worse than that for the visitors?
No, I disagree. I think it'd be 4-0. I think they've got the worst defensive record in the league, so I think we've got more than enough to take our chances and win this game comfortably. I'm hoping Cavani gets a start. This would be a good game for him to start. I wouldn't start him in midweek against Bashir, so I would play him and maybe have Martial up front because I know Rashford and Greenwood are out. So yeah, I'm pretty confident. I think we'll get the win. So you never know, though.
Very, very true. Never a true word. You never know with Manchester United, especially under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the moment. Finally, Footy Talk, you have the last say. What is your prediction?
I'm going to say 4-1. I do feel like we will concede. I feel like Fernandes is going to get a brace and Cavani scores, and then the last goal is going to be Martial. Also, wait, Kieran.
Yep.
Do you play Among Us?
I don't, unfortunately. I've never really got into the game. I know. I should get into it, but I haven't really got into it. But who knows? I've got a lot of free time right now, so who knows? But 4-1, I'll take that all day long. I'll take a 1-0 win at this point. As I said, I'll take a 1-0 win. But guys, yeah, as I said, I'll take any win at this point. We need a result. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to end it here. Really do appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who's watched tonight, all the way through. Make sure you do. Everyone's left. They all left. I haven't even finished yet. Haven't even ended the broadcast yet, and everyone's left. Okay, well that's fine. Kobe, thanks for joining. Obviously, sorry if you're a bit late, but don't worry. As we say on this channel, you're never late. You're never late. You can just rewind it. That's the beauty of YouTube. You don't have to, kind of catch it next week. You can rewind it. So don't worry, you're never late. Don't worry, Matthew. Don't worry. I was just joking. But thanks everyone for coming on. As Matthew said, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please do feel free to leave a like. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new around here. And Kobe goes for 3-0, and so does Worldwide Red Show. That's not the comment he said it. Here's the comment he said it, 3-0. So mostly positive, which is what you like to see. Mostly positive. My prediction to end it off, I'm going to be positive as well. But I'm not going to be as positive. I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I think West Brom are actually, obviously their defensive record isn't brilliant, but actually Slaven Bilic is a kind of guy who against the big sides can get a job done and can defend really well. Against Spurs, Spurs only scored in the dying embers of the game, and they only won 1-0. So Spurs, in that game, he proved that he could set up a team to cancel out one of the best attacking teams in the game right now. They drew 3-3 with Chelsea as well, so I wouldn't be too too kind of overly confident going into it. I think we should be confident, but at the end of the day, I'm going to go with a 2-1 win. I think we'll just get the job done, especially with Ole's job on the line. In the end of the day, we always seem to get the job done, and if we don't beat West Brom at home, there is a serious problem. But thanks for watching. Really appreciate it, guys. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully after a win. Hopefully we've got a lot of positive stuff to talk about like we did after the Everton game. But thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Have a good